In my past life, my assistant Lin Jishi spread vicious rumors around the office that I was trying to conceive and would soon go on maternity leave. The very next day, our boss stripped me of all store back-end permissions and handed full control over to her. Right before the big 618 shopping festival, Lin Jishi made a careless input error and missed a zero on the price tag for 100,000 units of merchandise. She called me sobbing, begging for help. I moved faster than anyone could imagine, locking all orders and pulling the listings offline in the final seconds, saving the company tens of millions in potential losses. Even so, the store was forced to suspend operations during the emergency fix, and the company still had to pay a $1,000,000 penalty to the e-commerce platform. Yet Lin Jishi ran straight to the boss to twist the whole story against me, tears streaming down her face. It's all Chen Ran's fault for getting distracted by pregnancy planning. She never double-checked the price sheet before handing over control to me. Boss Shen Qingnan fixed me with a cold, hostile stare and fired accusations my way too. You're supposedly on maternity leave, yet you logged into the highest admin account faster than humanly possible? Chen Ran, did you collude with bargain scalers on purpose to sabotage the store? The two of them forged fake evidence together and dumped all blame squarely on my shoulders. I was saddled with a $1,000,000 debt and forced to work 3 part-time jobs just to scrape by, until I collapsed and passed away from overwork late one night. When I opened my eyes again, I traveled back to the day before all the 618 campaign settings were locked in. Chen Ran's probably gonna take maternity leave soon. We can't leave the store unattended, can we? Lin Jishi raised her voice loud enough for everyone in the pantry to hear, deliberately drawing attention from surrounding co-workers. At her age, it's normal to try for a baby anyway. But the big shopping festival's right around the corner. If she suddenly takes off, we'll be stuck cleaning up this massive mess. I stood outside the pantry door, staring at the date on my phone screen, June 15th. Less than 24 hours remained until the final lock-in for all 618 campaign configurations. I'd returned to the day before Lin Jishi spread lies to seize my permissions and triggered the catastrophic promotion disaster. Half an hour later, Boss Shen called an emergency meeting just like he had in my previous life. He slid a formal core system permission transfer form across the conference table toward me. Chen Ran, your focus has been slipping lately. The 618 event makes or breaks our company. We can't afford any mishaps. He tapped the table sharply, his tone utterly self-assured. Hand core back-end access over to Jishi for training first. You've mentored her for 6 months. It's time she works independently. I lowered my gaze to the name, Lin Jishi, printed on the document. In my last life, I'd blown up at him fighting to keep my commission bonuses, only to have my permissions forcefully revoked regardless. This time, I didn't waste a single breath arguing. Once we transfer all core access, will Lin Jishi be listed as the sole responsible party for all 618 inventory, pricing, and promotion submissions? A hush fell over the conference room. Shen Qingnan hadn't expected me to agree so readily, and a flicker of suspicion crossed his face. Lin Jishi jumped in immediately, desperate to seize the opportunity. Don't worry, Sister Chen Ran, I've mastered every back-end function under your guidance. She snatched the signature pen before I could change my mind, eager beyond measure. I'll monitor every detail of the festival non-stop. I won't let you worry about a single thing. I watched her greedy, impatient expression and felt a bitter, ridiculous amusement rise in my chest. Fine then. I slid the pen toward her. If you're that confident, the whole campaign's yours to manage. Shen Qingnan's mood lightened instantly at my compliance. Young people deserve opportunities to grow, Chen Ran, this'll be a good chance for you to rest too. He paused, then shifted to a cold, calculating tone. Though since you're no longer overseeing the 618 event, your year-end festival bonus will be recalculated based on actual individual contributions. His true agenda finally laid bare. He planned to cut my massive festival bonus and pocket the extra profit himself. I pulled a pre-written resignation letter out of my bag and slapped it flat on the tabletop. If we're transferring full authority and full liability to her, I'll finish all handover formalities tomorrow. Shen Qingnan stared at the paper in shock. What's this supposed to mean? Exactly what it says. Settle all outstanding bonuses per our employment contract. I'm handing in my notice. He slammed his palm hard against the table, furious. You're threatening to quit over this? Do you think the 618 event will fall apart without you? I'd never dare make such a claim, I echoed his words mockingly. With store manager Lin at the helm, the company's bound to thrive. Lin Jishi preened at the title, store manager, a smug grin spreading across her face as she flipped through my compiled configuration checklist. I tossed out an offhand remark as she scanned the inventory page. Be conservative with festival stock counts, don't push the maximum limit recklessly. Just input 10,000 units, avoid the 990,000 ceiling figure. Her eyes lit up instantly, and she jotted 990,000 down beside the line item without hesitation. Thanks for the heads up, Sister Chen Ran, I've got it memorized. I watched her scribble the dangerous number, a cold sneer hidden inside my heart. I said nothing more and turned to walk out of the conference room. Chapter 2. Early the next morning, I printed 3 full copies of the official handover checklist. The long conference table was covered in detailed breakdowns of back-end accounts, promotional rules, pricing matrices, and inventory data, every item clearly itemized and labeled. Lin Jishi strolled in holding a coffee mug, a faint sneer lacing her voice. Writing all this out just to hold me accountable later, hey? I can navigate the back-end blindfolded, no need for such tedious paperwork. Shen Qingnan followed her into the room, glancing at the stacks of documents with annoyance. Chen Ran, there's no need to turn this into a formal investigation. We are all colleagues, part on good terms. I ignored his comment and swiveled my laptop screen toward them. A screen recording program was actively running. This won't capture any faces, only the desktop and all document content. I gestured to the monitor. The entire handover process has to be recorded to eliminate future disputes. Lin Zhishi's hand froze halfway to the mouse, her expression twisting with unease as she shot a glance at Shen Qingnan for backup. Sister Chen Ran, you're being way too distrustful of me. Shen Qingnan's face darkened with irritation. What game are you playing at, Chen Ran? This isn't a workplace drama set. I'm only following standard corporate handover protocol. I pushed a liability transfer form across the table toward him. Sign and stamp this if you want to skip the hassle. Effective today, Lin Zhishi bears full operational responsibility for the store. I won't interfere with any back-end work whatsoever. Shen Qingnan scoffed and scribbled his signature in one sweeping stroke, calling the admin over to stamp the official company seal. Take it and be done with it. I folded the fully executed liability form and carefully tucked it into my bag for safekeeping. The second she obtained the highest level admin login credentials, Lin Zhishi changed the password right in front of me on purpose. Password's updated now, Sister Chen Ran, you can focus on planning your pregnancy leave without work distractions. Curious co-workers poked their heads around the cubicle walls whispering amongst themselves. Is Chen Ran really quitting to have a baby? What a shame she'll miss the huge festival bonus payout. I tuned out all gossip and pulled out a supplementary written agreement. One more document to sign, Director Shen. He glanced at the paper with impatient disdain. What's this now? It states the company cannot demand former employees return for unpaid emergency support work once a full handover is complete. I read every clause aloud clearly. Now that we've wrapped all handover formalities, I expect a clean break with no further obligations. Shen Qingnan laughed out of sheer anger, snatching the agreement without reading a single line. You think you're irreplaceable? Get out of my sight. I collected the signed document and headed straight for the finance department. The accounting supervisor buried my full bonus settlement form under a stack of folders, sliding only a basic base salary slip across the counter to me. Director Shen's orders, your festival bonus will only be finalized after the 618 event wraps, based on your measurable contributions. I stared at the pitifully small salary slip, remembering how they dangled unpaid bonuses over my head in my past life to force me back into crisis firefighting, then dumped every disaster on my shoulders afterward. Understood. I didn't argue. I pulled out my phone and photographed the salary slip, resignation letter, liability transfer form, and supplementary agreement, then sent all photos encrypted to my personal email archive for permanent backup. I grabbed my moving box and passed Lin Zhishi's workstation on my way out. She was typing furiously on the keyboard, the 618 pricing configuration page open on her screen. Double-check all price entries carefully, Zhishi, Junior Ju reminded her from beside the desk. No worries, I never make typos even half asleep, Lin Zhishi replied without lifting her head. Sister Chen Ran was always too cautious. This year I'll show Director Shen what I'm truly capable of. I looked away and stepped into the elevator. Chapter 3. After leaving the office, I didn't head straight home. I settled into a quiet nearby cafe to clear my mind. I muted notifications for every workgroup chat linked to my old company, instantly drowning out all their noisy updates. Shortly afterward, Junior Ju messaged me privately. Are you really gone for good, Sister Chen Ran? Director Shen's just putting on a tough front. If you go back and apologize, you can still negotiate your bonus. I tapped out a calm reply on my screen. All liabilities were formally transferred in writing. I'll abide by the contract's bonus terms and won't be returning to the office. Ju sent a sad-faced emoji. Zhishi's been acting incredibly arrogant in every work group lately. I switched to her WeChat Moments feed. The top post was a screenshot of the store's back-end festival setup page, with a boastful caption, finally get to independently manage the full 618 campaign. Grateful for Director Shen's trust, pulling an all-nighter to perfect every promotion detail flexed biceps fire. I zoomed in on the screenshot. Blurred in the bottom corner of the inventory column was the glaring figure, 990,000. A cold laugh escaped my lips. She'd actually followed that reckless note of hers and input the maximum overstock number. If there was even the tiniest pricing error, the company would face irreversible bankruptcy-level losses. I closed the screenshot and switched to the company's main WeChat group. Shen Qingnan had sent 3 consecutive red envelope bonus announcements back-to-back. Extra festival rewards will prioritize staff who step up to take on core responsibilities, learn from Zhishi's dedication. The chat flooded with dozens of identical replies. Thank you, boss. Congratulations, Manager Zhishi. I scrolled past the empty flattery without a second glance and opened a job recruitment platform. Less than 30 minutes after submitting my resume, a local lifestyle content operation team sent an interview invitation. We don't require all-night festival shifts. Weekends are fully off. We prioritize data analysis and content conversion expertise. The hour's tone was direct and straightforward. I headed to their office for an in-person interview that afternoon. The hiring manager scanned my historical campaign performance data, eyes lighting up with genuine admiration. It's such a waste for you to stay stuck at that traditional e-commerce firm constantly cleaning up others' mistakes. For the first time in this industry, someone didn't pressure me with empty buzzwords like team dedication or big picture responsibility. Thank you, I replied sincerely. On my commute home, my mother called me in a panic. Aunt Lee ran into me today asking if you're secretly pregnant. Everyone at her social circles gossiping that you handed over your job to prepare maternity leave. Her voice trembled with anxiety. What's really going on here? I paused outside my apartment complex entrance and took a deep breath before explaining everything briefly. Lin Zhishi's malicious pregnancy rumors, Shen Qingnan's scheme to seize my bonus by revoking my back-end access. Mom seethed with rage after hearing the full story. You slaved away for them for years, and they'd rather drag your name through the mud than treat you fairly? Don't worry about me, I've already lined up a new job, I comforted her before hanging up, a heavy weight of frustration settling in my chest. Spreading groundless slander carried zero consequences for people like Lin Jishi. A single fabricated rumor became neighborhood gossip and even hurt my family's peace of mind. At 10 o'clock that night, my phone lit up with a message from Lin Jishi. She sent a screenshot of the promotion stacking configuration page, her tone casual as if nothing hostile had transpired between us that morning. Sister Chen Ran, do all stacked discount coupons activate automatically? The backend's throwing conflict warning prompts. I read the message and chose not to reply. The crisis she'd deliberately stolen for herself was hers alone to resolve. Chapter 4. The final pre-festival mandatory meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. The admin office had called me 3 separate times threatening consequences if I failed to attend to sign off on campaign confirmation paperwork. You haven't finished your resignation procedures yet, refuse to sign, and you'll forfeit every cent of your bonus entirely. I hailed a taxi back to the company. The conference room was packed with department heads, and Shen Qingnan stared coldly at me as I pushed the door open. Lin Jishi slid a thick stack of campaign documents across the table toward me, a fake innocent smile plastered across her face. Sister Chen Ran, you walked me through all these strategies verbally during training, right? Could you sign here to confirm you approved all 618 settings? I flipped straight to the final page of the packet, my gaze locking onto bold black printed text that made my blood boil. In the event of pricing or inventory catastrophes during the shopping festival, former lead operator Chen Ran shall bear joint full liability for all financial damages. The paper still carried the faint warmth of fresh printer ink, only just printed that morning. A bitter, mocking laugh bubbled out of me. Director Shen, what exactly is this? I slammed the document flat on the tabletop. I've formally resigned, transferred all access and operational liability to your new designated manager. Now you want me to sign paperwork taking responsibility for any festival failures? Shen Qingnan leaned back in his office chair, twirling a fountain pen between his fingers. If you're dead set on quitting, just sign and we can part ways amicably. Refusal proves you deliberately left hidden traps during handover. He swept his gaze across every seated department head in the room. Everyone's watching, Chen Ran, don't be ungrateful. Every co-worker bowed their heads, staring at their phones or documents, too afraid to meet my eyes. Junior Ju buried her face in her notebook to avoid eye contact entirely. I refused to sign. I stood tall, voice steady and unwavering. Withhold my bonus all you want, I'll file a formal labor mediation complaint. Shen Qingnan's face turned deep crimson with fury, shooting straight to his feet. Security, escort her out and confiscate her staff ID. Bar her from touching any office equipment on company premises. He immediately posted an official company-wide group announcement. Former operations lead Chen Ran has been terminated for uncooperative conduct during mandatory handover processes. I handed over my employee ID to the security guards without a word and walked out of the office building, burning with humiliating anger yet refusing to let my composure crack. At 8 p.m., the official 618 pre-sale period went live. I sat at home staring at my desktop clock, counting down each passing minute. 8:01 p.m., 8:05 p.m., 8:10 p.m. My phone vibrated non-stop with incoming calls, Lin Jishi's number flashing repeatedly on the screen. I declined every call once, twice, 5 times in a row. She sent a tearful voice message afterward, panic thick in her tone. Sister Chen Ran, the pricing has a missing zero error. Hundreds of thousands of orders are flooding in. The whole company's ruined. Seconds later, Shen Qingnan dialed my number, screaming over the chaotic background buzz of endless order alert chimes. Log into top admin access and lock all orders within 10 minutes. If you refuse, I'll sue you for every penny of losses. I held the phone away from my ear and opened a hidden folder on my desktop, lined with critical archived evidence, the fully executed liability transfer form, the supplementary agreement banning after-hours emergency labor demands, and platform official SMS confirmation of my full back-end access deactivation sent that afternoon. I spoke softly into the receiver. Director Shen, have you forgotten what happened this afternoon? When you ordered security to escort me out, my entire platform back-end account was permanently revoked by corporate administration. Dead silence crackled across the phone line. Chapter 5. That's a lie. Shen Qingnan roared, static buzzing through the receiver. You still hold backdoor platform admin privileges separate from internal office access. Log on right now to block these orders immediately. I sipped a glass of water calmly before responding. Platform backend credentials are fully linked to internal corporate network accounts. The second you terminated my office login this afternoon, all external store permissions were automatically reassigned to Lin Jishi's account. Meaning she's the only staff member with the authority to lock pending orders at this moment. A loud crashing sound echoed through the call, followed by Lin Jishi's hysterical screaming. I can't find the order block function anywhere. Sister Chen Ran never walked me through this part, Director Shen, I genuinely don't know how. Shen Qingnan's voice turned desperate and vicious. You could fix this mess back then, you can do it now. Get over here by taxi at once. I laughed dryly. You seized my operational authority and shifted all responsibility to her, now that disaster struck, you're begging me to clean up your mess? Chen Ran, you're deliberately allowing massive company losses out of malice, he threatened. I'll press criminal charges for intentional business sabotage. File whatever complaints you wish, I said and hung up the call. My WeChat workgroups blew up with dozens of mentions flooding my inbox despite notifications muted. Sister Chen Ran, please help us, our store's being wiped out by bargain buyers. We've all worked half a year for this year-end bonus, don't abandon the team. I took screenshots of every manipulative, guilt-tripping message before exiting and deleting all group chats one by one. Lin Jishi and Shen Qingnan, along with the loudest 3 co-workers who'd pressured me, were all added to my block list. Peace finally settled over my phone notifications. Minutes later, a stranger sent a WeChat friend request using a crying cat profile picture, the verification line reading, "It's Shishi, please accept my request." I clicked open her personal moments feed without approving the request. A voice memo posted via a secondary alternate account waited there for me to hear. Sister Chen ran, "I only input the 990,000 stock figure because you implied it was acceptable during training. Just admit you instructed me to do this, and Director Shen won't hold me fully accountable, I'm begging you." A wave of disgust rose in my chest listening to her blatant reversal of facts. I screen recorded the entire moments page including timestamp and audio content for evidence storage. At 2 a.m., a major e-commerce industry group erupted with shared screenshots of the platform's official penalty notice. Holy hell, Shen Qingnan's flagship store got fully suspended. Charged with predatory underpricing to manipulate market flow, a $1,000,000 security deposit has been fully forfeited as compensation. Words out 100,000 items were snapped up at a 10% discounted rate by bulk scalers. They are bankrupt now. I stared at the notice screenshot and let out a long, relieved exhale. In my previous life, I'd rushed back to the office overnight, utilizing leftover back-end access to block orders and save the company tens of millions in damages. And what reward had I received in return? They pinned the $1,000,000 platform penalty entirely on me, claiming my pregnancy distractions and incomplete training had caused the error. This time, the karmic disaster landed squarely on the people who'd orchestrated every scheme against me. Chapter 6. I was jolted awake at 6 a.m. by frantic knocking at my front door. Ran, get up quickly. I threw open the door to find my mother pale and trembling, white-knuckling her mobile phone. A man claiming to be your company's admin just called me. Her voice shook with rage and fear. He said you intentionally planted digital viruses in the office computer while pregnant to tank their store's profits. Claims the company's lost tens of millions and will send debt collectors to our house to hold you legally liable. A surge of burning anger shot through my skull. Mom, give me the caller's phone number. I cross-referenced the digits and confirmed it was a landline from the firm's admin department. I typed a sharp warning text and sent it to the line instantly. Any further harassment targeting my family will result in immediate police reports with full call logs submitted as evidence. All store operational catastrophes stem from your internal staff's own reckless actions. Don't force me to publish every piece of archived proof to the public online. No reply came through within 30 seconds, and all further calls ceased entirely. I calmed my mother down and sent her back to rest, only to receive an unfamiliar phone call moments later. I picked up. Chen ran. Shen Qingnan's tone lacked last night's screaming fury, replaced by eerie forced gentleness. I lost my temper yesterday and spoke harshly, let's reach a compromise. If you draft an appeal letter to the e-commerce platform and take partial blame for this incident. He paused to dangle a petty bribe. I'll pay every cent of your owed bonus in full, plus an extra 20,000 yuan as personal compensation for your trouble. I let out a bitter laugh at his patronizing offer. Director Shen, yesterday you forced me to sign paperwork holding me liable for $1,000,000 loss no matter what went wrong with their campaign. Now your store's suspended with millions in damages on the line, and you think 20,000 yuan can buy my silence? Silence stretched across the call before he snarled back. Don't turn down a gracious settlement offer. You can't escape responsibility for this mess. Call the police then, I'll happily meet them to present all official signed evidence face to face. I hung up the phone. That afternoon, a long emotional essay penned by Lin Jishi spread rapidly across industry social media platforms, titled, The Bitter Ordeal of a New Employee Bullied by Senior Colleagues. She fabricated a heart-wrenching narrative claiming I'd deliberately hidden critical back-end workflows during handover and misled her into entering 990,000 inventory counts to sabotage her career, attaching fake back-end login screenshots as false proof. Several former colleagues messaged me urging a public apology to salvage the company's reputation for all staff's livelihoods. I typed a single reply to every pleading message, their business losses are not my personal debt to repay. I locked my phone and grabbed my keys to head out, already anticipating their next desperate maneuver. Chapter 7. The police mediation room was thick with stifling tension. Shen Qingnan slammed stacks of order printouts hard against the interrogation table, pointing a furious finger straight at me. Officers, this woman deliberately sabotaged our flagship store and cost us tens of millions in direct revenue losses. Lin Jishi sat beside him, shoulders hunched, hot tears streaming down her cheeks as she put on a helpless victim act. Sister Chen never let me touch core functions during training. When she handed over the work, she concealed all links between pricing and stock inventory limits. I only followed the notes she left behind. She sniffled dramatically, painting herself as an innocent rookie manipulated by my malice. The mediating police officer glanced back and forth between the three of us, then turned to address me. Do you have any statements or evidence to refute their allegations? I unzipped my backpack and laid out every archived document one by one on the table surface. First document, official handover receipt bearing Director Shen's handwritten signature and company corporate seal. I slid it forward for inspection. Second, platform SMS notification proving all my backend admin credentials were fully deactivated at 5 p.m. the day before the festival presale went live. I zoomed the screenshot on my phone for everyone to view. I locked eyes with Shen Qingnan directly. Director Shen, the officer's asking, if my account access was completely revoked that afternoon, how could I have edited pricing and inventory data at 8 p.m. during the presale launch? His complexion drained of all color instantly, caught off guard by my comprehensive evidence trail. You must have kept hidden backdoor login credentials somewhere, he shouted frantically, grasping at thin air for an excuse. I turned to the officer making a formal request. I asked the police to file an official document retrieval request to the e-commerce platform for full login IP records and operation logs from the festival launch window. Half an hour later, a fax containing the platform's official investigation report arrived at the station. The officer scanned the contents, then fixed a stern glare on Shen Qingnan. All pricing revisions, stock quantity adjustments and pre-sale activity launches at 8 p.m. were completed under Lin Jishi's logged-in admin account. Every operation trace links directly to her user profile. Utter silence blanketed the mediation room. Shen Qing spun around to glare viciously at Lin Jishi. She panicked instantly, throwing all blame back onto her superior. It was Director Shen who told me to push high sales volume by inflating inventory numbers. I only followed his orders. You're lying. Shen Qingnan roared, raising his fist to strike her before the officer intervened with a sharp shout to stop the assault. The officer issued a formal warning to Shen Qingnan for filing false criminal accusations without substantiated proof, liable for public order violations and defamation charges. He stood rigid, veins bulging on his knuckles as he clutched the worthless pile of fabricated order screenshots in his hands. I gathered all my documents back into my bag and addressed the officer calmly. I reserve full legal rights to pursue civil defamation and harassment claims against the company admins threatening calls to my family, alongside Lin Jishi's fabricated online smear posts. I turned and walked out of the station without sparing the two bickering parties a single backward glance, breathing in fresh sunlight as I stepped onto the sidewalk. This was only the start of their overdue reckoning. Chapter 8. After receiving the police's formal warning, Shen Qingnan dared not file further false police reports against me, yet he refused to concede defeat. The next day, a formal legal demand letter from his corporate legal department arrived in my mailbox, ordering me to compensate the company for losses stemming from incomplete operational handovers and requiring me to attend a formal deposition within 3 days or face civil litigation. I photographed the letter alongside my unpaid bonus payslip, the company's public termination group announcement, and all signed liability transfer paperwork, then submitted a full labor arbitration application at the official Labor Dispute Commission office nearby. The arbitrator scanned my complete evidence packet, a confused frown creasing his forehead. The firm already issued a public termination notice to all staff, yet they are demanding you take responsibility for new staff's operational errors? He dialed Shen Qingnan's work number to schedule a formal response hearing. Over the line, Shen's voice lacked all prior aggressive bravado, stammering that he only wished to negotiate a resolution with me voluntarily. Negotiations cannot proceed with threatening legal demand letters, the arbitrator ruled firmly, scheduling an official hearing date for both parties to attend. I exited the arbitration office feeling a weight lift from my shoulders. Simultaneously, the e-commerce platform issued a second round of severe penalties against Shen's brand. Mass buyer complaint backlogs from unfulfillable discounted orders led to permanent festival participation bans and full freezing of all store capital balances. The shop's daily traffic plummeted to zero, completely non-operational. That afternoon, Junior Ju sent me a private photo via WeChat. Lin Jishi's workstation stood emptied of all personal belongings, only a crumpled handwritten note left atop the desk reading, "I'm also a victim, don't pressure me." Director Shen flew into a rage this morning hiring outside technical teams to salvage the store, but every vendor quoted exorbitant upfront fees for emergency repairs, Ju added in her message. He smashed 3 file folders on the office floor out of frustration. I scrolled through the photo, finding their desperate antics absurd beyond measure. They brought this ruin entirely upon themselves. Minutes later, Ju sent another image, a printed internal statement circulated to all staff by Shen's order, forcing every employee to sign a witness affidavit claiming I deliberately sabotaged handover workflows pre-resignation. Anyone who refuses to sign will have this month's salary cut in half, Ju's accompanying text read. My expression turned cold as I read the demand. I typed a clear warning reply for her to relay to all co-workers. Falsified witness statements carry legal liability upon court review. Signing fabricated testimony will result in permanent personal legal records if the arbitration case proceeds. Ju remained silent for a full 30 minutes before sending a lengthy voice message detailing critical hidden evidence she'd secretly recorded during the office's internal plot to frame me. A turning point had finally arrived in my favor. Chapter 9. The footage and chat logs Ju forwarded contained irrefutable proof Lin Jishi had originated the pregnancy rumors circulating throughout junior staff private group chats, plus admin's internal conversations about Shen's plan to withhold and seize my festival bonus payout. I downloaded and backed up every file, attaching them as supplementary exhibits to my ongoing labor arbitration submission, and also sent copies to the e-commerce platform's official customer complaint channel. A few days later, the labor arbitration ruling was officially released in my favor. The judgment ordered Shen Qingnan to fully repay all withheld festival bonuses plus formal resignation severance pay, alongside a mandatory public written apology posted to the company-wide workgroup deleting his prior false termination notice. Word spread that Shen flew into a screaming fit in the office once the ruling arrived, furious that his staff had leaked internal plot evidence against him, yet no colleague dared step forward to sign his fabricated witness affidavits anymore. While he wallowed in defeat, Lin Jishi unexpectedly reappeared at the firm demanding monetary compensation for the store's losses. She confronted Shen in the office corridor, screaming that he'd promised the company would absorb all liability for her inventory error. You told me inflating stock numbers was fine. Now the platform's fining me, you need to cover all costs. Shen snapped back at her, enraged that she'd caused 100,000 bulk scalar order disaster by missing a single digit on pricing. Their shouting drew every employee's attention to the hallway. Mid-argument, Lin Jishi pulled out her phone and played a recorded audio clip at maximum volume for everyone to hear. In the recording, Shen's unedited voice echoed clear across the entire floor. First, get Chen Ran's admin permissions stripped. Her festival bonus is far too large to hand over in full this year. Jishi just input rough stock figures as a placeholder. Any losses will be covered by corporate funds. The recording instantly spread to every staff WeChat group, the firm's ugly internal greed scheme laid bare for every worker to witness. All pretense of training new talent dissolved into obvious self-serving bonus theft. I received the official written arbitration award notification on my mobile phone that evening, a quiet sense of closure settling over me as I closed the page. Chapter 10. My first week at the new company ran entirely smooth and stress-free. I led a local lifestyle content account with steadily rising engagement metrics, and the team maintained a healthy workplace culture, meetings focused solely on campaign optimization data with zero pointless blame shifting or forced overtime expectations. This was what a normal professional working environment ought to feel like. Meanwhile, Shen Qingnan's business continued spiraling into irreversible collapse. Her suspended store's frozen capital prevented supplier payments, leading vendors to camp outside the office daily demanding overdue settlement funds. One after another, employees handed in resignation letters once salary delays began. Desperate to save herself from legal liability, Lin Zixi published a lengthy expose across every major career forum detailing Shen's plot to steal my bonus, spread fabricated pregnancy slander, and coerce staff into signing false liability documents. Shen retaliated by creating anonymous alternate online accounts to trade vicious insults with her in comment threads, posting screenshots of her sloppy daily spreadsheet errors to paint her as the sole source of the festival disaster. Their mutual mudslinging only reinforced public confirmation of the company's rampant internal mismanagement and illegal operational tactics. The e-commerce platform's final formal verdict arrived shortly after, fully absolving me of all store loss liability, ruling every penalty and financial restitution to fall exclusively on Shen's corporate entity. He was forced to sell his prized luxury Mercedes-Benz to cover the massive fines, surrendering his high-rise full-floor CBD office lease to relocate to a cramped shared co-working workstation. Every day he fielded endless collection calls from unpaid suppliers and platform auditors. As for Lin Zixi, her professional reputation was irreparably destroyed across the entire e-commerce industry. Every firm she interviewed had instantly recognized that 990,000 inventory typo incident, featured on her resume and rejected her applications outright. A small third-party operations agency hiring manager openly mocked her during one interview. "We are far too small to accommodate an operator who costs businesses millions in overnight losses." She burst into tears and fled the office mid-interview. I closed the industry gossip webpage on my work laptop and set my phone aside as a bank deposit alert pinged on screen, the full back pay, bonus and arbitration compensation transferred into my account without delay. I scanned the large numerical balance with calm detachment, no wild surge of emotion, only quiet closure. In my past reincarnation, that same owed bonus had been a crushing death sentence, driving me to overwork myself to sudden late-night organ failure. In this lifetime, the perpetrators bore every consequence of their own greedy, malicious choices. I locked my phone screen, sipping warm room temperature water beside my desk. The official workday clock hit quitting time. I packed my bag and exited the office alongside friendly co-workers. A brilliant sunset stretched across the city skyline ahead of me, promising a brand new day tomorrow with no lingering shadows from my old toxic workplace. The end.